Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I have some more cards from Night Wanderer, the new expansion. I might actually be switching the release order, so I may have either just released a video on some of the cards in the set, or we'll be releasing one later today or tomorrow. But this set features some really cool cards. It's going to be a mini set in international release, including the US and Japan. It will be part of the Night Wanderer set, though. But and it will be releasing in I don't know when it's releasing in Japan, to be honest, but internationally it will be releasing in August as a mini set. But let's hop right into the cards. We got one Pokemon, which is weird and like really, really weird. And yeah, I've been looking at this Pokemon. It's absurd. And then we got ourselves a bunch of other trainers, including Ace Spec Stadium, which is insane. But I saw we got Kyurem, a dragon Pokemon, and its ability says Anti-Plasma. This is not Team Plasma. Team Plasma is not back. I mean, it kind of is with Future, but it's not actually back. But its ability says if your opponent has a Pokemon card if your opponent has a card with Colress in its name in their discard, the attack cost of this Pokemon's Triforce is colorless instead. I'm pretty sure this does not have to be the word colorless. There's a card Ball Guy, and it couldn't search for Air Balloon. I'm pretty sure this actually does like work. It doesn't have to just be colorless. There's colorless's Experiment, and I'm assuming it will work with that, and it will counter that. So if your one's playing Lost Zone, this attacks for just one colorless, which is insane. And we'll talk about the attack. But there's also a new supporter that has colorless in its name, and so yeah. This is a Lost Zone counter, and I think it's predominantly a Lost Zone counter, but for Water, Water, Metal, Metal colorless, you got Triforce. Did I say Triforce? It's Trifrost. But yeah, Trifrost. Discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. It does 110 to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon. So for Water, Water, Metal, Metal colorless, this is like impossible to pay, really. It's like you're never going to pay this. We did take a look at the potential Stellar type leaks, or they were Stellar type leaks, but they may or may not have been real. And they added crazy attacks and potential ways to power this up, but realistically, no. This is kind of absurd. Multiple metals and multiple waters. Um, you're not powering this up, except for theoretically in Lost Zone, but like it's really good. It's 110 to 3. But if this is for one colorless, this is like actually the best attack in the game. It does 330 damage. Um, of course, it's spread out. You're not hitting 120, which is what you want to get per barrel, but you do have like Hawlucha. There are ways to get 10 damage into play. Not super free, but not that hard. Especially when you're attacking for one colorless. Again, if your opponent's not using Colorless Experiment, though, you're not attacking with this because, or our colorless is something, because it's Water, Water, Metal, Metal, colorless. This card's absurd. No weakness to retreat. Um, Dragon, of course, and yeah, this is interesting. I think this is really good. We need to take a look at the other colorless supporter, but Lost Zone's pretty good. Colorless Experiment used to just be played all over the place, but now you might actually want to avoid it because if you can ever get value from this and if you can ever attack with this, it's really good. Admittedly, against Manaphy, that does shut it down a lot. It's just hitting 110. It's just like a Cramorant kind of, but it's not bad then. I mean, 110 for 1 and 130 HP, no weakness. As a single prizer, it's all right. It's certainly nothing to scoff at, but I feel like people don't say that anymore. Anyway, it's really good though. This card's insane. Also, you can like boss up and then canceling cologne and then just win pretty much if they get a mana fees. So it's pretty insane. Next up, we got biting Mochi. Um, so this is when I love this art. It is cool. Um, but anyway, I mean it's just like Mochi, but it's still cool. Uh, the attacks of the poison Pokemon, this card's attached to do 40 more damage to your opponent's active. Okay, that's interesting. So we looked at Okidogi EX and in the previous video, and I was aware of this card, but I hadn't actually read it yet. But and it's a tool, so normal tool stuff. But this is interesting. You can poison your active with Pecker. No, oh, I realized what the combo is, and I'm annoyed. Um, okay, we got this with the new pack friend EX. Its ability lets you switch a bench darkness Pokemon with your active and poison it. What Pokemon is darkness? There are a few. There is Roaring Moon EX. that's not the combo for this because it instantly knocks out. You don't do that. You do have the new Okidogi, which is good. This is like good for it, but um, it's not insane, right? It's nice. 40 more damage is nice, but you already hit pretty decent damage with that attack, and it's not like you're really pushing yourself over a threshold. But you can pair this with Charizard EX. You can pair this with Charizard EX. Charizard EX is so good, and it's getting another buff. Pekaron EX is really good. And Binding Mochi just is extra damage. This is so good. I'm kind of annoyed. This is really good. So because Charizard EX plays I mean, it plays Choice Bell and Maximum Bell and sometimes Defiance Band and sometimes even Vitality Band. It needs the extra damage. This gives you the extra damage because you can just play that Pecker on EX and then go ahead and go boom. I'm gonna send up my guy. I'm gonna take 10 damage, 20, maybe 30, 40. I don't know, but you have 330 HP, and if you get one shot, you're still one shotting stuff back because of this. Because you're at the beginning of the game, you're only hitting 180, which isn't enough to one-shot Arceus V or Miraidon EX or Champao EX, but now it is. Now you can just go Binding Mochi plus Beckron EX, and yeah, that's pretty insane. Um, wow. Okay. It is useful in other scenarios. There are other decks that could poison themselves. Cloth EX, or sorry, single price Cloth will really love this. It's going to be like actually really insane for that. Anything with Brute Bonnet, you can actually use this in a lot of cases with Brute Bonnet. So you can do Brute Bonnet, poison yourself to do 40 more damage, and then you also poison your opponent to actually just straight up do more damage there as well, which is really nice. Brute Bonnet will then be doing an extra 50 if you have the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler plus the Stadium. It's an extra 70 or even 90, which is insane. A free like 90. It's not free, but if you get a Stadium, a Pokemon, a tool, and another Pokemon, and I guess another tool, which is a bunch, but like then you're just doing 90 more damage, or 72 Charizard because it's Darkness. So yeah, this is really, really good. And Charizard, mostly, I think. But it could be played in other things as well. That's a good card. Next, we got Colress's Tenacity. This is the other Colress card. I think Colress is a cool character. Like it. His hair is kind of weird. But search your deck for Stadium and an energy, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is really interesting. Stadiums are obviously pretty solid, and energies are also good. But notably, this can grab special energies. So this is pretty interesting. You have seen cards to search out special energies. I think this card's going to see some play. We'll see. Of course, there's that Kyurem, so you don't want to like play this and then just get absolutely obliterated by Kyurem either. But it's an interesting card. I think it has some value. Again, the fact that Kyurem's so good, like it just attacks and knocks out like all your Pokemon. So maybe you don't want to play this in the early game. In the late game, it's still not great. You're just getting like messed up by it. You do have Manaphy. That will rotate at some point as well in the somewhat near future, assuming no like reprints or pseudo reprints. I guess we did have Thunderous, but that's not so good. So this is really interesting. Colors Tenacity. I think it's a solid supporter, and there are some decks that will like it. I don't think it's that good. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is so good because it's not, but it's not like super bad either. If someone says it's super bad, that's just not true. Because it has some value. It's like a search supporter. We've seen things to search out special energy. We saw I it was Alistair. It wasn't Piers. We saw Piers to played, and even like Urshifu decks to search out special energy. You can use Luminion V to search this out, and that has some value. But lastly, we have a neutral center in Ace Spec Stadium. I was wondering if these were going to come. I thought they weren't because we didn't see them, but now we are, which is really interesting. These could be, well, I don't know how these are going to work. Let me just read them, right? So Ace Spec, only one Ace Spec in your deck. Prevent all damage done to Pokemon that don't have rule boxes by attacks to opponents Pokemon EX and V. Why don't they just say non-rule boxes are immune to rule boxes? That's annoying because they're gonna print like some like like EX with like a capital X and a lowercase e, and then it's like gonna hit through this. But anyway, so this is fine. I feel like it should have been um, non-rule boxes are immune to rule boxes. This doesn't stop Radiant Greninja or Radiant Charizard, so okay, whatever. So this is really good though. But then if this card's in your discard pile, it can't be put back into your deck or hand. Okay, I guess. So this can't be put like anywhere. it can't be recovered. I think. Well, I can't go. I could go and play. I don't think there's anything that just puts stadiums from just going to play for you to do that. And so this says you can only play one stadium. If put next to the active spot and discard it if another stadium comes into play. A stadium with the same name can't be played. So this does have these same things going on as like regular stadiums, unlike the Prism Star stadiums, which are actually more resilient. Like they were immune to like I was gonna say lost vacuum. No, they're immune to field blower at the time. This is not immune to lost vacuum though. It will get lost, but you can't even recover it anyways. But like that will get rid of it, and of course other stadium bumps will get rid of it. I think this is not very good, quite frankly. Like theoretically, it's insane, but also people just play stadiums in lost vacuum, so your opponent will do this. Potentially, it could win you the game, if not. But I feel like it's going to be so rare that it wins you the game, um, that like it's just never going to happen, and then it's literally going to be useless, or not completely. It might be there'll be some chance like games where it's moderately useful but like less useful in the game where it's useful that it's not an auto win. It's not going to be as good as like Prime Catcher or Secret Box or Unfair Stamp or Legacy Energy or Scoop of Cyclone or really Master Ball or Ancient Drum or Reboot Pod or Neo Upper Energy or uh, the I don't know, it's Secret Aroma or whatever Hyper Aroma. I don't know. Like it's not good, right? It's not really. It might be better than some of those, but will certainly be weaker than the top ones, the top like four in Legacy Energy, Unfair Stamp, Prime Catcher, and Secret Box. So I Scoop Up Cycling you can lump in there. But yeah, I think this is still going to be all right. I think some people play it, and I think they'll stop playing it because I think it's not very good. Like theoretically, it's insane because this could literally just win you the game. It just like mimic you on all your Pokemon, not all, but like potentially all your Pokemon. But also, as I said, your opponent will counter this, and yeah, and so they'll counter it and that's it, right? So and it doesn't have general value all the time. It's not gonna help you set up. So yeah. It's also not like effects, it's just damage, which is like fine. Most EXs aren't doing effects. Roaring Moon and Guillotine V-Star are exceptions, but yeah, I think this is still pretty alright. I don't think it's that good though. I think it's gonna be, as I said, it can be so easily countered, and so, like you never want to just get hit by this and just lose. So people will counter it even if it doesn't see play. It's like Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja, more people play Manaphy than Radiant Greninja, which is like, I'm pretty sure. Certainly more people play Manaphy than people that can play Radiant Greninja and attack with it, which is like kind of silly because it does counter other things, but it's mostly Radiant Greninja. So I think it'll definitely be the play here where everyone's running stadiums and Lost Vacuum, which people are running now anyways. So yeah, I don't think this is super good, but I think Colress's Tenacity is all right. I think Binding Mochi is insane. I think Kyurem's also insane. It's a loss on counter, which is weird because it's like late, but that's fine. Anyways, I'm super stoked for these cards. They're like super countery and the Charizard buff. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you didn't, consider liking, subscribing, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.